One of the things we just came out with is this idea of an Evisions Accelerator that helps accelerate your ability to get to the types of reports that you want. And I think one of the great things that we can do as a company is we can provide value around connecting all of those systems behind the scenes so that you don't have to worry about how those things are connected. You can just focus on the data and the decisions that come out of the other end. When it comes to those connections, what are some of the challenges that we solve? Like why are connectors so hard for people?
Every connector has a lot of uniqueness to it these days. Database connectors generally are standardized, but when you're talking to modern siloed SaaS solutions, each and every connector is ultimately unique in its own specific ways. And so this can be a challenge if you're not technical to figure out and configure and manage each one of those connectors. So we want it to be painless, and we want to be able to just say, I want this data and I want to put it here. And so we allow you to have that ease of access to the data that you need when you need it.
Yeah, imagine having to build the connection for a system only to have that system change in a couple of months and then suddenly your data is not flowing.
Yeah, change management is always a problem with SaaS because you make little tweaks here, you add new features, you require new fields, and you don't have to think about that.
Well, I'm so excited about accelerators for a number of reasons. One, I think just being at the Evisions conference the last couple of years, we've heard that there's major challenges with connecting data from across campus. And for me, this really shows that we've listened to our customers and we're delivering on their requests. And accelerators are really going to allow us to really get quick time to value and focus on specific data challenges. So the concept around accelerators really is to focus on specific data challenges across campus. And this first accelerator is the academic engagement. I'm excited about it because it really empowers advisors quickly to get a holistic view of what's happening on campus, to be able to measure engagement, to be able to get in front of at-risk students early.
So I think one of the goals, what we've heard, is that getting that data from siloed systems is very difficult. And to really be effective at really understanding retention, understanding engagement, you have to pull from this vast array of data. And it's difficult, right? So it's difficult to find the data, to know what data exists, who has access to it, and then basically blend it together so that it makes sense in a meaningful way. Now that you have that data, then what do you do with it, right? So you need to have some level of dashboards, right, that allow you to dice and slice and look and essentially ask a bunch of questions. So we took a different path of not just saying, here's some data. We said, look, we have expertise in the ecosystem of higher ed systems. We have expertise in higher ed because we have many people from Evisions, right, who've come from that space. And so we've defined all those sorts of questions and said, hey, what are all the list of questions that someone needs about academic engagement? And let's build dashboards that help drive those answers and do it in a really quick way, right? But it's also extensible, right? And that's sort of why we call it an accelerator. It's not always the end game. It gets you answers immediately, but then you can extend with additional information that's really critical for your institution.
Absolutely. And already, just in talking to our customers and getting feedback, we're seeing really meaningful ways to expand and extend that model. And so we're excited really to partner with our customers as we're building out new connectors. The way we look at this is that we want to create connectors across campus for common use systems, and really it's a partnership with our customers to get there and to support them and to extend these models. And then from there, look at other areas on campus as we bring accelerators to different departments, different functional users. So I couldn't be more excited, again, just listening to our customers, getting their feedback, and then taking action on that. And I think we have really exciting things ahead. And I've been a part of projects where, they take a boil the ocean approach, where we're trying to suck in every data element, on campus to make sense of it. And I've watched those projects just drag on and people lose steam and enthusiasm. So again, back to landing quickly that solves a problem today and helps a customer today, and then being able to really take the time to say, we have something valuable now that's solving a problem,
Right.
and to really look at it about, in the right way of what else do we add to this that makes sense. So I couldn't be more excited
Yeah,
about the time.
it's awesome. And like you said, we are asking and partnering with our customers on connectors. We're asking and partnering them with other accelerators that they have interest in. So exciting stuff for sure. It's up and running. Your administrators, your advisors, the dashboards are for the folks who are trying to make these decisions and being aware, but it's also for leadership, right? So we have leadership level dashboards that'll give that information. Now you're using it and you say, well, our institution needs a great deal of information from sort of card swipes or tutoring, right? So we've got a pretty effective, we think, tutoring program. How do I know how that's impacting engagement or retention? So very quickly, they can extend that data model, bring that information in. Connectors could be something they do, something we do jointly with them, and then extend the dashboards themselves. So you get to a point fairly quickly that you can then extend, customize, so to speak, what your particular needs and values are.
And I feel like, it's a game changer in the sense that, if we just took academic engagement today, what we see campuses do that don't have an effective solution in place, they're advisors that are going into Banner, they're logging into 5 or 6 screens, or Colleague, they're logging into their LMS systems, they have spreadsheets with tutoring data. And so you're seeing all of this data, it's either side by side, it's in different systems. And even if you bring that together and it's, in an Excel file, it's still side by side. It's not part of the same equation to really know like how a student is doing. So if we looked at a student that, looks like they have a really good GPA, but is actually trending in the wrong direction. But if I saw that data just side by side, I might say, hey, they have a good GPA, they're doing well, and I'd move on. In reality, that's an opportunity for an advisor to be reaching out, having those conversations, getting ahead of that as that trend is starting to go in the wrong direction. So it's very powerful. I'm very excited about that. And again, as we talk to our customers and we see the ways that they want to use it in different systems, we're just going to be able to extend that, further.
Yeah, that's a great point, because each individual system you may not even have access to, right? Could be 2 different people. And then sort of the level of data that you're looking at, it's hard to make those decisions, right? So you may never know that the modality of a hybrid class or an online class or, fully, an on-campus class, you may never know if there are impacts, positive or negative, unless you're able to bring all that data, view it, sort of dice and slice and compare and contrast with maybe other students or other classes or other professors teaching different sections of the same class. All that can be done now through these dashboards in a very seamless, pretty quick space. So,
and back to real quick, the leadership dashboard, being able to then at the same time have the advisor level, right? They're seeing their students that they advise, but then to have the executive teams be able to quickly get a at a glance view of how their students are doing, measure that by department, and see that. I also think it's really going to help with just, frankly, folks using their systems in a better way, because now you have a point to measure all of this data. And so if you do have faculty that are not, inputting grades or using the LMS system effectively, now you have an opportunity to see those gaps and to really make change happen in a good way, in a positive way, to say that, at-risk or student retention, student success is important. Well, we need to be effective and we need to be getting the data in the right place. And I feel like this is really going to show where those gaps are, and it's going to make some changes.
Yeah, exciting stuff, right?
Right.
Yeah, good place to be. Could I use, some data blending tool? Could I use my programming language? Can I use a spreadsheet to go do this? Sure, you probably could, right? Challenges are you have to have the right skill set, you have to have the right access, you have to know what data you're going to go after, You actually have to know the business domain problem set. That's going to drive a lot of that. And then it goes back to getting the data, right? If it's against the table, yeah, it could be pretty straightforward. But then again, access to APIs, for student A who's taking 5 classes, for each of those classes, let me go through and iterate through all the assignments they've taken. Let me go through all the quizzes they've taken. Let me bring all that data back. Now what do I do it, right? I now need to take all that information. I need to persist it into a data model, right? That is high performance, that is supportive, that you can do the right sort of reporting off of. So there's a tons of challenges, and then even sort of the after the fact is you've now built in-house a legacy system. It immediately becomes legacy once you turn it on, and now you've got to support bugs, testing, the infrastructure, the security of it, the privacy of it, as your systems that you're connecting to change. Now you've got to make sure those things continue to work. And unfortunately, IT departments are swamped with work and requests, and now you've just added a whole nother selection. And it's not going to grow at the pace of the expectation that you had because you have all these other jobs that you have to do. So you're typically doing a lot more with a lot less, and now you're in an environment that becomes pretty difficult. If any of those domain experts leave for whatever reason, now you're really saddled with something that's probably undocumented and pretty much could be unsupported. So there clearly are ways, but our accelerators, they're supported, right? They're supported by a commercial vendor who's in business to do this, and ensures that they continue to work as time progresses over time.
Absolutely. And, going back to just the folks that are bringing this data together in Excel today, there is a lot of gymnastics that people are going through to get that. And, the other problem with just not doing anything is you're spending hours a day, a week to do that. And once you've done all that work, that data is stale the next day. And so for us to have a solution that allows you to, really get this out through Argos to all of the advisors, all of our faculty that are going to be using this, and it to be something that is repeatable. So it becomes really their window into, the students that they advise. Really, I see this as something that they will log into daily, and help them be more effective.
For sure.